California, stay away from here. Stay away from here now. Don't come in here. Whatever you hear, stay away. John Doe has the upper hand.
What's in the box?
Greetings, everyone. Steve, Paracord of Kindness. How you doing today? Hopefully your waving's been happy. Welcome to another edition of What's in the Box? Anyway, before we get to the box, as always, these little videos are where I just sit down and kind of talk about what's been going on, what I've been working on, what tutorials I may potentially make, that kind of thing. So, let's just talk for a moment, and then we'll get to what's in the box. Okay, let's see. As always, shameless plug. Lynx Modified. Not to be confused with the standard Lynx. Lynx is 2 colors. This is 3. I'll leave the tutorial link in the cards and in the description below. This one is a Harmony. It's kind of, if you ask me, it's kind of a mini version of a Tao Falls. You know, it's got the 2 colors in the middle or whatever. But I'll leave the tutorial link in the cards and the description below. Let's see. This one right here, I'll say this. It's kind of a thick one. It's a rather thick bracelet. And my other half, she does not like the thick ones. You know, she likes the small, dainty, more feminine type bracelets, if you will. But when she saw this, she said, "Ooh, you got to make me one of those in red, pink, and white." So I made her one in red, pink, and white. So for all the ladies that watch the channel, that follow me on social media and stuff, I do make, you know, softer, more feminine colored bracelets every now and then. But most of my customers are men, so hence why you see a lot of the darker colors. Okay, let's see. With that said, what's next? Let's see, where are we going to start, I guess. I made a couple of these. I had a gentleman ask me about these. I just called it a spine-stitched fishtail, basically. Olive drab, maroon, and gold. These are kind of my signature colors. For some reason, I just like these colors. Now, granted, I do wear, not today, I have a long sleeve maroon shirt, and I usually have an olive drab shirt over it. Today I've got gray and blue, which, you know. But this one is black, lava flow, and burnt orange. And this one is midnight blue, colonial blue, and the stitching is electric blue. But I had a gentleman ask me about this when I posted a picture in social media. He said, "Is that like a ridged fishtail?" Yes, it is. It's very similar to a ridged fishtail. The only thing is, on a ridged fishtail, the little cross pieces that go down through there, they are actually the same piece as the thick colonial blue 550 piece. And that tends, if you've never made one of those, it can be difficult because you have to initially make a conscious effort to leave that fishtail weave very loose so you can get that thick cord through there all the way down. And as you get down to the bottom, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And if you haven't, you know, left yourself enough room and all that kind of stuff, it can be difficult to finish. And I've made 1 or 2 of those, and it's kind of on my naughty list. Like, I don't, that's not a bracelet I like making. But this, it's the same principle. And it's not as thick. I'll say that either. It's not as thick. It can be, you know, you can make it a 2-string core fishtail, and it can be a thin type bracelet. And, you could do it either way. I did not gut this piece of colonial blue. Now, I've made some bracelets. They were trilobites, kind of in this fashion, where I gutted the piece, and it causes it to lay flat. Now, this one's not gutted. You can see there's an actual ridge down through there. Hence why I call it the spine stitch. But it's a nice bracelet. It's pretty quick, pretty simple, you know, pretty straightforward. I may make a tutorial on how I did this. It's pretty simple though. But that's something I've done. Let's see. What should I do next? This right here. Here's a bracelet I made. I'll show you. Yeah, I'll just lay these up here so you can see these. I made, this is this was the first one I posted here recently on social media. It's black and electric blue. This one's black and colonial blue. And then I made a solid black one and a solid midnight blue. Okay? Now I'll show you this so you can see this. I've had quite a few people ask me about this because what this is a, it's by Cetus. What's the name of this one? Oh, gosh, the name slips my mind. Here, give me a second. I can tell you what it is. I can look back in my files, and I'll tell you. The name just slips my mind. I can't believe it. The Morning Sun Bar, right? And you can find a tutorial on Weavers of Eternity. We all know the channel. You can find a tutorial, but he does it in one color, which is the way it is in the Cetus book. Let me see if I can remember. It's, oh goodness. It's in the Cetus book, volume 1, page 106, if anybody has it. But it's done in one color there also. And it's one of these that's meant to be an offset working in. If you don't know, there's something I knew that that term I've come up with or whatever. A lot of times when we set up our core strands on the jig, we have two working ends of equal length, and they get woven together. A lot of the weaves I've been doing lately have a offset working end, meaning the two ends that come off, one is basically just a little short piece that's going to get tucked under the back of the bracelet, back woven, and that's it. So all the excess goes on one end. So you only have one working end that weaves, right? Hence it being one color. Well, I saw a picture somewhere, and it was in two colors, and I thought, I bet you I can do that. So I started looking around, and I saw Weavers of Eternity video, and I realized it was in the Cetus book, and I just sat down and figured it out. Well, I posted these pictures, and I had a whole bunch of people ask me about it. Most likely one of two reasons. Either they liked the bracelet, they wanted to make it, or simply they can't find a tutorial on how to do it in two colors. Because I'll throw this out there. I have a lot of people. When I first started posting pictures on side tangent right here, I started first posting pictures on social media, I'd often have people say, what weave is that? Right? And I'm the same way. I'll ask, what weave is that? Or what color is that? Right? And I've learned, just from experience, just go ahead and put the information in the post. I wish that was like a standard practice that everybody did. Put the name of the weave, what color cords you're using, and I always just add in the type of cord, 550 or 275 or 3. You see, with a micro cord. That way, those basic questions that a lot of people ask are already answered. If you just simply read the post, remember, Facebook, it's more about, there's more to it than just simply looking at pretty pictures. Read it. You might gain some knowledge from reading the post. But, I started doing that. And I've had a few people comment, man, I appreciate you doing it that way. That way, I don't have to ask, and it makes it easy for me to try to find a tutorial on that. And I've seen in the past week or so, more people doing that. Now, they're not doing the format that I do, but they're putting the information on there, which I think is great. Put that out there because so often people ask. I know I would ask, and people ask, they always ask, what weave is that? Or what color is it? Just put the information in the post. That way, the question's answered before they even ask. Makes sense. But anyway, back from the side tangent. I made this, and I had a few people, and they were, like I said, they were asked, how, a tutorial, how do you make that? Either because they liked the bracelet, or because they couldn't find a tutorial for the morning sun bar done in two colors. So I made a little video, and I've shared it with a few people. Whatever. So I most likely will make a shallow cut of this, because to be honest, this is on my naughty list. I don't like this weave. Now, here we go. We're going to go on a side tangent again. When I say shallow cut, I just recently started a playlist. I got one video in it right now. For those who watch my channel, you know that my videos tend to be a lot longer than your average paracord bracelet YouTube video, YouTube video. And it's because I put it this way. Here's the two camps, the two sides of the fence, the two whatever. I have some people say, you over-explain stuff, as in, you talk too much, your videos are too long. Hey, I get it. Not everybody has 2 hours to sit down to watch a video to make a bracelet. But I try to explain things to the point that you're going to understand. You're not only going to know over here, under there, pull tight. You're going to know over here, under there, pull it this direction and this tight. All the added tips, tricks, and commentary, right? I'm gonna not only show you how to, let's say, I'll put it this way. I'm not going to just teach you how to make a paracord bracelet. I'm going to teach you how to make a paracord bracelet. See the nuance difference there? Some people say you over-explain as if it's a bad thing. Okay? But then I have other people say, no, he thoroughly explains things. So when I started this channel, I started putting stuff on this channel, the intent was to thoroughly explain. Make the videos a little bit longer, explain the process of what's going on and how all this works together. Because there's so many variables that come into this that people don't consider. And whatever. And I've had people, thank me for it, and I've had people complain, You over-explain, you thoroughly explain. You see the nuance difference. So I started recently a playlist, and it's called Shallow Cuts. The longer versions I would call Deep Cuts, because they go deep into detail and explanation. The shallow cuts, not so much. The shorter videos, more in line with your typical YouTube tutorial, paracord tutorial type video, right? So I'll probably make a short or shallow cut for this. Just to show people, because I've had so many people ask me about it. When I ask, I can just point them to the video on the YouTube channel. But I'll show you. I want you to see this. You've already seen it. But you see how that is? That's the nature of the way this thing's woven together. The way this thing's woven together, it causes a twist. The first one I made, which was it this one? No, I think I made it. It doesn't matter. I made it, and I was noticing on the jig, it was kind of sitting funny. I'm like, what's going on with that? And I realized when I took it off the jig and I set it down, it went, oh, and I was like, oh, that's what's going on. It's wanting to curl up because of the way the thing's woven together, right? And it causes it to, for me, y'all have heard me talk about this before. I always say neat, clean, and tight. Keep it neat, clean, and tight. Well, one of the things that gets me, this is me, is when you look at one of these bracelets and a fishtail, a fishtail and a trilobite type bracelet. You see how the side of this is straight? You don't have like this one little wraparound piece sticking way out and then one next to it is pulled way in. Like a heart monitor. Bloop, 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 bloop. I can't stand that. That's, pay attention. I say this with all respect. This is one of the things, I point this out to people and then it dawns on them. Tension, consistency. Pay attention. It's not that you have to pull your bracelets extremely tight or not extremely tight. You don't have to pull them real tight or less tight. You have to pull them the same amount every time. Your tension, every time you pull it, has to be consistent. That's what keeps it straight down the sides. Now me, I tend to pull my stuff as tight as I possibly can. And I know not everybody does that. I've talked to a lot of people, and they have certain medical issues in their hands, and they have lessened dexterity in their hands, and they can't pull, they can't grip. And hey, I get it. There's nothing wrong with not pulling your bracelets tight. It's when you pull them with the same amount of tension. Tension consistency. And since I started using that term and talking about this, people understand what I'm talking about. It's one of these things that you've never thought about because nobody's ever talked about it. But when somebody kind of talks about it and explains it, it clicks and you're like, oh yeah, it makes sense. So that's one of the things that will make a bracelet look very, very nice or not nice. I'm going to just say it as nice as I can. Hey, I'll be honest. Some of my bracelets, these things, I'm telling you, these right here, oh gosh, this is the way the sides are. Yeah, it looks terrible to me. But my whole point in saying all that is just the nature of the way this thing's woven together. It makes it hard to get it straight down the sides. It's just, and then it twists up, and I don't like this one. Like I said, this is one that goes on the naughty list. Like, we probably not going to be making a whole bunch of these. But because everybody's asked, I'll most likely make a short or a shallow cut tutorial on this. Basically, over here, under there, pull tight, that kind of thing. I'll leave it at that. Just to, because so many people have asked. Okay, there's that. Okay, now, here's one I done recently. I show you these two. These come from, this is also a Cetus weave. And this is it's called the Black Widow. Now, I've done the little side stitching right here in Imperial Red, which is kind of hard to see on this because it kind of blends in with the other red. But you can see it on this one. I've done it in Acid Purple and the Black and Neon Shockwave. Right? But I really like this weave. It's not a very thick weave, but it's a little bit wider, and it allows, this is what I want to point out, it allows for a larger buckle. This is a 20 millimeter or 3/4 inch buckle. For those who know me, I most often use, the first one I did was a 15 millimeter or 5/8 inch buckle. And great buckles. But these are painted black. You see how it kind of reflects the light. Okay. This one is what's known as a silicone buckle. Now, the buckle itself is made out of metal, but it's been coated, instead of being painted, it's been coated in silicone. So it has a non-reflective surface. You see what I'm saying? You don't get that reflection, that glare off of it. So I like that. But they only offer these, Paracord EU only offers these in a 20 millimeter 3/4 inch or larger. You can't get them in a 5/8 inch or smaller. Right? So it's not as often that I get to use these. Why? I'll show you. Imagine, always have your buckle proportionate, the width of the buckle proportionate to the width of the bracelet. Meaning, let's see if I can show you this. You wouldn't put this real narrow bracelet on that big wide buckle. That makes sense. You'd have this narrow bracelet and this big wide buckle, and it just looks disproportionate. It does not look good. So, I only use these wider buckles when the bracelet calls for it, the width of the bracelet calls for it, and that's a nice fit right there. Makes sense? So, that's one reason I like this. And plus, it's just, man, that's just a cool looking weave. But, anyway, with that said, that's one of the things that's in the box, is a couple of these. I don't use them very often. I keep them in stock, but I don't use them very often. But I've used a few of them, so I had to order some more. Okay, now the next thing, I'm going to show you this one too. Here's you something to consider, tip, trick, whatever you want to call it. I made this one. I put this one on one of them silicone buckles too, because this is a little bit wider bracelet. But this is also a Cetus weave. This one's called Wave. And now, like I said, a minute ago, when I do bracelets, I tend to pull them as tight as I can. And, you know, we all know as you're weaving, you're trying to push everything up toward that buckle to keep it tight. Neat, clean, tight, and everything. Well, the tutorials for this that I found on YouTube, they don't quite do that. I know, and even in the Cetus book, it's done that way. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I tend to push it toward the top. That some of these bracelets that are mint, I ain't gonna say mint, but when you see the picture, they have gaps in between, like these little wraparounds right here on the side. They'll have a big gap between them. Right? And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's actually some bracelets that I do purposely so that those gaps will be there. But a lot of times I'll push it to the top so much so that those gaps aren't as noticeable as when other people weave the same bracelet, right? Okay, so with that said, when I went to do the stitching on this one, because listen, where's the one? Let me see. I've got one. I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can't find it. Give me just a second, folks. I've got one. Where is it though? Here it is, right here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is called the Sonic Armor Modified. I got a tutorial for this one on the channel. But you see how these black wraparounds, there's a gap in between there, right? Okay, well, that's perfect to do this stitching. All it is microcord stitching that sits in between there, okay? And the way this was woven together, you push it to the top. You push it as you're weaving it down. You can push it to the top and get it as tight as you want, but you're still going to have these gaps in the side. Which, like I said, that's perfect grounds to put stitching in. Right? Okay. This one right here has these gaps in the side of it. Right? But you can push it as you're weaving it. You can push it up and it closes those gaps in. I tried to do the same stitching pattern on this bracelet. And because it closes in those gaps, the microcord, here it's acid purple, kind of falls down in those little gaps, in the cracks. It gets lost and you can't quite see it. You see what I'm saying? You can see it, but there's a couple of places on this bracelet. It's probably hard to see on camera. Like right here. This groove right here. You see how you can barely see the purple compared to the other ones? It's because it falls down in that crack and that microcord gets lost and you don't see it. Okay? On some weaves, that's just the way they are. And in instances like this, there's been a few bracelets I've made where that phenomenon, the stitching falls in the crack and gets lost and you can't see it. In this instance, I would want to use a thicker cord, perhaps 95, as opposed to microcord. But the thing is, I don't have a lot of 95. I don't use it very often. I don't normally make bracelets out of that thin stuff. So, I had to order some. Hence, the majority of what's in this box. Makes sense? There's that. So I'm most likely going to make a couple of more of these. I've been waiting. People like this one. You know, it's the same color as that neon green and acid purple. A lot of people like this one, but I haven't made any more. Why? Because I've been waiting on this little bit thicker cord to be able to do the stitching. And we're going to see. It may not work out like I'm thinking. Hopefully it will. I'm going to have to make one to see what it looks like or whatever. And, but we'll go from there. But I'll tell you, this one, it's a thick one. It's a beast one. It's a thick bracelet. You look at it from the front, and it doesn't look very thick. But yeah, it's a thick one, just so you know. If anybody goes to watch one of the tutorials on the YouTube channel and sees it and goes, oh, wow, I want to make that. Yeah, just know that it's a thick bracelet. Even if you don't push it toward the top buckle like I did, it's still a thick bracelet. It's a very, very beefy bracelet. Okay, but there's all that. I think that's about it. Buckles and the cord. I talked about that. Let's see. I guess that's the stuff I've been working on lately. So let's get to this box. Well, open this. This is what everybody's here for, because this is where I show the cord that I've got, various colors and stuff, what I've got. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to open the box up. We see the box. I'm going to sit it off to the side so we can keep, pull out our invoice. That way we can make sure we got everything. Do we need this? No, we don't need this. All the stuffing and packing. Okay, first things first. I ordered this. I go through so much of this. What is this? Is this 500 feet? I think is what this is here. Is it 500 or 300? I can't remember which one this is. It's 30 meters. No, that's not right. 100 meters, which basically the American equivalent of a 300-foot spool. Actually, it's a little bit more than 300 feet, but it's the equivalent. And it's black. And I ordered this because normally the cord I use is jet black, not black. There is a slight difference in the color of those cords, and I get it from Paracord Galaxy. And I ordered some, and it wasn't Paracord Galaxy's fault, it was Postal Service's fault. It took it a week and a half to get here. This is Paracord Galaxy. As far as I know, everything you order from them, they send priority mail, which is a 2 to 5 day. Normally, I order it and I have it in my possession 3 days later. It took it a week and a half. This package got sent to Birmingham, Alabama, which is I live in the suburbs of Birmingham, Alabama. It got sent to the large distribution center, and then they sent it way out to rural Alabama somewhere. And I'm like, what in the world? And then instead of returning it back to the distribution center to correct the action and get it sent to where it needed to be, that small rural post office sent it to another small rural. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, man, I said, you know what? Just order this. Order this along with whatever else you got. That way you'll have some, because I was almost out of black. And if I run out of black, my production ceases. Point blank. Everything shuts down. So I ordered some. But I wanted to, I've been wanting to do this to see if the black you can get from Paracord EU, what it compares to the black that I get from Paracord Galaxy. Because, like I said, if you get a look on Paracord Galaxy site, you'll see black and you'll see jet black. There's two different colors. And if you ever hold both of them in your hand, I tell people that all the time, that picture on that web page is not going to give you a true representation of what that color looks like. Right? That's why a lot of companies you can order a sample and they'll give you, 4 or 5 inch piece so you can see it. Hence some of the stuff I got in the box. But, whatever. Paracord Galaxy, jet black, and I used the jet black. I ordered some from them. Just in case I ran out, even though it might not be jet black, it's not like I'm going to mix that black on that old spool with the new black. I just go through this or whatever, but I wanted to see. So this is Paracord Galaxy Black. And this is a sample from Paracord Galaxy of what they call black carbon. Now, on the website, I couldn't quite tell the difference. Now, you probably can't see this. I know you can't see this because, like I say, I apologize. The camera's bad and all that. But I can see the difference. And this is more of a darker, deep, true black. This has got more of, it's black, but it doesn't look as deep and dark black. I don't know. I wouldn't so much call it gray. It's just not as black as this black. Does that make any sense? But I ordered a sample just to see whatever, and whichever one was the darkest, that's the one I was going to start ordering from them. Because I normally get my black from Paracord Galaxy. But it seems that I've been using these buckles, because that's where I get them from Paracord EU, that I'm always trying to find something to order, you know, so I'm not just ordering, 20 buckles at one time. I'm going to order cord and this and that, whatever, and this is something that I keep on hand. Whether it be, this is only, 300 feet? I'll go through this in a week or two. I'm not kidding. I'll go through that pretty quick. But I got another sample of, what is this? Yeah, that looks like, what is this? Marine blue. I'm always looking for blues and dark blues. This is marine blue. And honestly, that's exactly what I thought it was going to be. It looks like what you would call here in America navy blue. Which, to be honest, I don't like it. It looks like midnight blue, which is this color, that has been faded. It's sat out in the sunlight and has faded. That's what navy blue looks like to me. That's the one. I've got some, and I thought, well, maybe it's just a bad batch of color or whatever. And I've ordered it 2 or 3 times from a couple of different places, and it always looks like it's faded. It looks like this, but it's faded. Hence why I don't use navy blue. I use this midnight blue. But I ordered this because I was going through their blues looking, and I'm like, well, that one looks kind of dark. I said, well, before I spend the money on it, and I said, and me get it, and it end up being navy blue, I said, let's order a sample. And it's called marine blue, which marine, navy, you see what I'm saying? And I thought, yeah, that's probably what it's going to be, and that's exactly what it is. It looks like navy blue. So that we won't be ordering any of. Not my favorite color. This black carbon, it's okay. There's not enough difference. It's too close to black to be used as on a bracelet to make a distinction between the black and this carbon black. It's too close. They're too close, but there is a difference. I've got a blackish gray, which you can tell the difference between blackish gray and black, and then I have an anthracite. And you can tell the difference in all 3 of those. They're all dark, but you can see the distinct difference between those colors, right? And I'll often use them on a quote-unquote grayscale type bracelet, just so you have all those different shades. This one is so close to this black, I won't be using it. But that's why you order samples. Okay, now, with all that said, let's see, what we got next? I throw this out here, the buckles. I ordered, these are just more basic. I didn't order that many. What are these? 15 millimeter black metal safe lock buckles. I call them tactical buckles. It's an umbrella term here in America. I had somebody the other day say, well, that's not really a tactical buckle. It's a metal safe lock. But I said, you're right. That's what it's labeled as. I said, but, it's considered a general umbrella term. If I say a tactical buckle, you go on YouTube, type in tactical buckle. It's going to spit back this style of buckle. That's what it's going to spit that back. And, tactical buckle sounds a lot cooler than metal safe lock buckle, which is a mouthful. But I know technically that's what this thing's called. And I have people ask me all the time, where do you get those? And I've got the link saved for that specific buckle. And there it is right there. That's what it is. I have no problem telling somebody where I got them from. But I got some of these. These are the, 15 millimeter or 5/8 inch. I got about 10 or 15 in there. I don't know. And then I got some more of these silicone ones, which I said they come in a 20 millimeter 3/4 inch or larger. Just black. I only got, a handful of those. Not very many. Because like I said, I don't use them very often. Okay, now, I got some gold micro cord from Paracord EU compared to what I get from Paracord Galaxy, which I go through this quite a lot. I figured let's see what it's about the same. It's slight difference in color. The Paracord, man, they got about 4 or 5 different versions of gold. Pirate gold, vintage gold, gold. I'm like, man, I just want some gold microcord. I mean, yeah. But, yeah, that'll work. I just wanted to say, a lot of times I'll order it just to have it in hand and see what that color looks like compared to other things. Compared to the gold I have. Or compared to what I'm potentially going to use it with. I'll walk around and compare colors. Yeah, you'd be surprised. I walk around this shop, try to pick out colors to make a bracelet, and I'll spend half a day walking around looking at colors. You know, like some basket case, blue, black, blue, purple, and they're like, my other half's like, leave him alone, he's picking colors. Just don't bother him, he's out there picking colors. But that's what that is. I got that just to see. I'll use it, and I thought I had another one. Oh, I did. I just ordered, let's see. I did. They put it on a funky size. They put it on a different size spool. This is basically colonial blue microcord, which I use a lot of that. Yeah, that looks like it's, honestly, that looks like it came off the same spool. But they put it on, why'd they put it on one of them? How much of that did I order? Okay, it's 40 meters, which is just at 100 feet, a little over 100 feet, which is about what one of these is. One of these is 125 feet, and that's basically the equivalent of this. But no worries, I mean, it'll get used. I use this and gold, I use quite often. Okay, that's all the microcord. Now, the rest of it, here's a color I ordered. What is this? This is, what was this one called? Galaxy blue. Okay, see, this is a little bit, what's that midnight blue? Yeah, it's not quite, now you can't see it on camera. There you go, yeah, you can. It's not quite as dark as this midnight blue, but it's galaxy blue, and it's a darker blue, and it doesn't look faded like the marine or the navy blue. And I've got a color, which actually this right here, if you look at this right here, this is space blue, right? And it's one of these colors. It's not color changing. If any of you know what I mean when I say color changing, it's not one of those. It's a solid color, but depending on what you use it with, it will sometimes look blue or green. Make sense? When it's just standalone by itself and you look at it, it has a green hue to it as opposed to blue. It looks more green than it does blue. But when you use it with something, you see what I'm saying? You can kind of, depending on what you use it with, you can consider it a blue or a green. I know that's kind of weird, but that's just the way it is. But I've been trying to find some darker blues that are not this dark and are not faded like the navy blue. And I took a chance on this one. I was like, well, I said, no matter. I said, I'll use it. It's only, 30 meters, basically 100 feet. I said, I'll order it and I'll see. Good call. Good call, Steve. Good call. Because that one is dark blue. It looks blue. It doesn't have the green funky look like this one. It's blue, and it's enough of a difference between that midnight blue that I could use them both in the same bracelet, and you can see there is a distinction in the color. Because a lot of you've seen my work. Let's see. Do I have one? I think I've got one over here. Let me see. Yeah, here's some examples of what I'm talking about. This is blackish gray and anthracite. Black, this one is anthracite, and the one on this side is the blackish gray. They're all three really dark gray or black colors, kind of a gray scale. I do this quite often with these colors. And then I have this. This is greens, kind of an olive theme. This side piece is stealth olive. This one running down this way is olive drab. And this one on this side is Paracord EU's, what's it called? Green pepper. And I ordered some of these green colors. I ordered a crocodile green and a spinach green. And they kind of fall into this olive area of the spectrum. But those two colors and this olive drab are so close that it's hard to make a distinction in between the colors. They're almost the same color. Now, if you look at them, hold them right next to each other, you can see a very subtle difference, but it's very subtle. I guarantee you there are some people who wouldn't be able to see the difference. So I don't use those much. I'm always looking for colors that are within that same, like these are all kind of an olive color. I'm always looking for colors like that, but that all kind of have that olive look to them, but yet there's enough distinction between the individual colors that you can see the distinction, right? And I hadn't been able to do that with blue. It's either midnight blue and colonial blue or the faded looking navy blue or the space blue, which doesn't quite go with everything else because it looks green. It looks out of place when you do it. I've been trying to find some blues that are all on that dark side of, the spectrum, but yet they all kind of have that same look. And I think I found it in that right there. So I'll be able to use Galaxy Blue. And with the name Galaxy Blue, I was thinking, yeah, that's probably Paracord EU's equivalent to the Space Blue, right? Determined, and I was like, well, let's just take a chance. We'll order it. I said, if it is, I'll use it. If it's not, great. Apparently it's not. So I'll be able to use these two colors. Outstanding. And do these two colors, and then you can stitch it in this brighter color. Oh, yeah, people love the blues. Everybody loves having the blues. But anyway, there's that. Now, I know I'm talking. But I kind of give you color theory and thoughts and all that kind of, like I said, tips, tricks to come to you. But the rest of what I got is all, it's type 1, which is basically 95 for those who know. And this is, like I said, it's going to be used. I mean, I'll use it, but it's specifically for this right here. This type thing where you need to stitch something and the stitching of microcord is too small and it falls down. The microcord is too thin, it falls down in the crack and gets lost. Well, you can come back here. You can come back and do it with this, which is 95, which is just a little bit thicker. Wow, that seems a little thick right there. But it is. It's not quite 275. It almost seems like it, but it's not. But it's basically 95. Type 1. And it's a little bit thicker. And it won't fall down in those cracks as much. Now, I'm going to try this out maybe today. In the next coming days, I'm going to try this out. I'm going to most likely make, I probably won't make this color again. I'll probably make one. Let's see. It's something that I'm going to wear. Black, Imperial Red, Black Shockwave, and then this Imperial Red type 1. You see what I'm saying? Because I'll wear that. This one looks cool and I'll wear it, don't get me wrong, but these are not, whatever. I normally tend to wear black and red and the olive drab, gold, and maroon. Those are the ones I wear. These colors and the black and the reds, yeah, those are the ones, personal favorite, the ones I wear most often. But, I always try to throw something in there that's got some color. That way it gets people's attention out and about. I'm a walking billboard, so to speak. But that's what the rest of the stuff I got is. What is this? Acid purple, imperial red, olive drab, and this would be, with these olive themed type bracelets, right? And then I got what is this? Is it charcoal gray? Is that what it is? Yeah, charcoal gray, which looks really good. It's still a darker gray, but it's bright enough that you can use it on one of these and it stands out like a stitching, or actual, oh goodness, where's it at? Yeah, here it is. Your microcord that you would use most often on one of these darker bracelets. You can use this charcoal gray, and on this like grayscale type bracelet, where all these dark blacks and these dark grays, this charcoal gray is not really bright that it stands out, like using that, but it's enough of a distinction in the shade or the tint. It'd be the shade, I guess. Between it, that it stands out, that you can see it and it looks good. Hence why I got it in this, just in case. If I ever need some 95 in a charcoal gray. And then, obviously, the blues. Like I said, man, everybody loves having the blues. Colonial blue in that same. I use a lot of this. This and gold, it seems like or the stitching colors that I use the most of. But that's what I got this week. I may order some more stuff. Obviously, I'll order some more buckles. But when I order buckles, I don't, because the shipping cost from there to here is significant. So I figure if I'm going to pay that much in shipping, I might as well go ahead and spend enough in one order that it makes it worth. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to pay $20 to have this stuff shipped, I might as well order a big enough order. Because I'm not going to order, it's different if you order 10 buckles from somewhere and it costs you $5 to ship them. No big deal. But when you order 10 buckles and the price of the shipping costs as much as what you're ordering, that's not cost effective, if that makes any sense. So when I order from Paracord EU, I try to order a bunch at one time. Does that make sense? So that's why I was looking at this black, because I'll most likely start ordering my black from Paracord EU, just so it's some way to get that bill, and instead of ordering them for Paracord Galaxy. Not that there's anything wrong with Paracord Galaxy. It's just I'm trying to compensate for that shipping cost to make it more cost effective. But that's what I got. I'll upload this, and I'll make. I say I will. In the next coming days, I'll probably make the shallow cut on the morning sun bar bracelet. I may end up doing something on this, which is basically a ridged fishtail. Search out YouTube, ridged fishtail paracord bracelet, Weavers of Eternity. I know he has a video for it. He'll show you how to do it. It's basically the same thing. I've slightly modified it though. Kind of gave it a different name because, technically it is a different bracelet. And it just sounds cool, spine stitched. That sounds cool. This one right here, I may do a tutorial for this. I don't know. It's not a hard bracelet. And it looks really good, and it's not a hard bracelet to do. It's not one of these that you have to, that's got a fickle knot or fiddly knot. I hear those two words used quite often. Where you gotta make sure you get it to sit right and all that, or it's not gonna do right. That's this. That's this morning sun bar. If you don't do it just right, it's not gonna sit and look right and whatever. This one, I've made it over here, under there, and tighten the knot up in sections, push it up, pull it, and bam, it's there. It falls right into place, and it looks the way it's supposed to. And it's not a hard one, and it looks really good. Looks really good. So, I may end up doing one for that. Don't know. But, I'll end it in that. I appreciate you hanging around. Listen to me. Like I say in my videos, just listen. You may pick something up. You may get something out of it. It's not just about, here's the gray I bought, and here's the blue I bought. It's about the inner workings of my crazy mind. And because I overthink some of this stuff and how to put this stuff together and things like that. And there's stuff like the tension consistency thing. You thought about it, but nobody's ever put it into words. And therefore you've thought about it unconsciously. But when somebody explains it to you, you're like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Now you're consciously aware of it. And it will help improve your bracelets. Makes sense? Not that I'm the expert, and I'm not perfect by any means, but I think about these things. And I sit and talk about this and the way I choose colors in this. But hopefully it's just the inner workings of the way I think, and hopefully that will help us all. You know, does that make sense? That's like I said, that's the intent of me making these videos. But with that said, I'll end this one like I end them all. Keep it neat, keep it clean, and keep it tight. Happy weaving, folks.